Time for a look at the scores for the first simulations in our Simulated Baseball League. Sunday morning simulations for Sunday, December 15th, I should say. And all teams play in the openers for this first session. And so let's get right to the scoreboard. We'll start with the Braves. They get a 4-3 win at home over the Athletics. 4-6-1 for the Braves. 3-9-2 for Oakland. The win to Rafael Soriano 1-0. The loss to Catfish Hunter 0-1. Craig Kimbrell saved 1 home runs for Atlanta, 2 for Tommy Holmes. For Oakland, Sal Bando with number 1. The Dodgers get a 10-3 win on the road at the Nationals. 10-16-1 for LA. 3-7-0 for Washington. Koufax 1-0 over Pedro Martinez 0-1. And 2 home runs for the Dodgers. They get number 1 each for O'Dowd and Campanella. Red Sox pound the Marlins at Miami 13-1. 8 of the 13 runs came in the 9th inning. 13-14-0 for Boston. 1-7-0 for Miami. Cy Young 1-0 over Kevin Brown 0-1. Rico Petrocelli hit 3 home runs for Boston. Giants beat the Yankees in San Francisco, 4-1 the final there. 4-8-1 for San Fran, 1-9-0 for New York. Mathewson the win, 1-0. Guidry the loss, 0-1. Home runs, Mel Ott, Jeff Kent each with number 1 for San Francisco. Jeter hit number 1 for New York. The Phillies beat the Angels 9-5, 9-13-1 for Philly, 5-12-0 for LA. Kelly Sparks the win, 1-0. Tanana the loss, 0-1. And save number 1 for McGraw. Schmidt hit 2 home runs for Philly. Erstad number 1 for LA. The Rays at home get a 5-4 win over the Mets. 5-12-1 for Tampa. 4-6-0 for New York. James Shields 1-0 over Seaver 0-1. And Fernando Rodney save 1. Home runs, McGriff and Longoria each with number 1 for Tampa. David Wright number 1 for the Mets. The Padres at home shut out the Orioles 3-0, and Jake Peavy threw 8 innings of no-hit ball. He ended up giving up 1 hit, but walked 6 over 8 1/3. 3-0 Padres over the Orioles. 3-10-0 for the Friars, 0-1-0 for the Birds. Peavy with the win, obviously 1-0 with it being the opener. Mike Cuellar took the loss 0-1, and Trevor Hoffman saved 1. Dave Winfield, home run number 1 for the Padres. Texas gets a 6-4 win over Houston at Arlington. 6-11-0 for the Rangers, 4-9-0 for the Astros. Yu Darvish 1-0 over Mike Scott, 0-1. And Feliz the save, obviously his first home runs in this one. Frank Howard and Adrian Beltre for Texas. Lance Berkman for Houston, all with number 1. Royals beat the Diamondbacks 7-1 at Kansas City. 7-14-0 for KC, 1-7-0 for Arizona. Brett Saberhagen 1-0 over Schilling 0-1. No homers. White Sox at home get a 9-5 win over the Cardinals. 9-12-3 for Chicago. 5-11-1 for the Redbirds. Frank Owen the win 1-0. Bob Gibson the loss 0-1. And a save for Hoyt Wilhelm, obviously number 1. Frank Thomas and Dick Allen each with 2 home runs for Chicago. They also committed all the errors. Allen is playing third base. He committed 2. Thomas at first 1. They are a little weak on their corner defense, and we'll see if that impacts them as the season goes along. They got away with it today, winning 9-5. And just to show how unpredictable baseball is, be it simulations through the computers or in real life, the Twins and Rockies played at Minnesota, and on paper the matchup was Walter Johnson and Ubaldo Jimenez. Neither one got the decision, as the Rockies win it in 10 innings, 5-4. 5 runs for Colorado. 5 runs, 9 hits, and no errors for Colorado. 4 runs on 12 hits and 3 errors for Minnesota. The win to Gabe White in relief for Colorado, 1-0. The save goes to Manny Corpus, his first, and Joe Nathan from Minnesota took the loss 0-1. The Rockies had actually gotten a run in the 9th off Johnson to go in front 4-3, but they gave that run back in the bottom of the inning. And interestingly enough, the errors for Minnesota, 2 on Maurer, the catcher, and 1 on Johnson. And Maurer's rated as a pretty good defensive catcher from his 2006 season that we're using on here. So like I said, very unpredictable game. 5-4-10, the Rockies get the victory. Harking back to that White Sox game for a minute, by the way, the home runs for Thomas, one of those two was a grand slam. Blue Jays beat the Cubs 8-6 at Toronto, 8-11-0 for the Jays, 6-14-2 for Chicago. Roger Clemens 1-0 over Mordecai Brown 0-1, and B.J. Ryan saved number 1. For the Blue Jays, they got home run number 1 from Carlos Delgado. The Cubs got home run number 1 each for Billy Williams and Ernie Banks. Indians beat the Brewers 4-2 at Cleveland, 4-9-0 for the Tribe, 2-10-1 for the Brewers. Addie Jost 1-0 over Mike Caldwell 0-1, and Mike Jackson saved 1 for Cleveland. Boudreaux hit his first for Cleveland. Cincinnati beat Seattle 13-3 in Cincinnati, 13-13-2 for the Reds, 3-8-0 for the Mariners. Art Fromm 1-0 over Randy Johnson 0-1. Votto, Foster, Bench, each with 1 home run for Cincinnati. And to wrap up the morning simulations, Pittsburgh over Detroit 6-1 the final. The Pirates were at home in this one. 6-11-0 for the Bucks, 1-6-0 for the Tigers. Babe Adams 1-0 over Denny McLain 0-1, and there were no home runs. So that wraps up the first set of the simulations for Sunday morning, December 15. And we'll very quickly give you the standings before we sign off. And again, keep in mind we have the modified alignment as we took the geography alignment for this league. National League East, the Rangers, Braves, and the Rays are all 1-0. The Astros and Marlins are 0-1. National League Central, the Red Sox and Phillies open with a victory. The Mets, Orioles, Yankees, and Nationals all open with a loss. National League West, opening with a victory. The Padres, Giants, and Dodgers. The Athletics and the Angels open as losers. In the American League East, the Tigers are the only team that opens with a loss, so they're a game behind the Blue Jays, Indians, Pirates, and Reds, who were all winners. American League Central, the Royals and Rockies open with victories, while the Cardinals, Diamondbacks, and Mariners all open in the loss column. And finally, in the American League West, the White Sox, the only winner. The Cubs, Brewers, Twins all open with losses. Now, coming up, we'll have the second simulations midday. We will have the report up later on Sunday evening, probably do the second and third simulations together. But that's the wrap for the first go-around. And stay tuned. There'll be a lot more to come. The regular season for the Simulated Baseball League ends on February the 11th.